My topic tonight is Buddhism a religion? Is everyone on board? Can you hear me now? At least just nod your heads. Good, thank you. Okay. So half a century ago, people were born into a religion, they lived in it and died in it. But today, more and more people are not identifying with a religion, according to Melvin McLeod, chief of Lion's Roar magazine. A Pew Research report in 2017 stated that 20% of Americans, 1/5 of the adult population, describe themselves as religiously unaffiliated. And that's up from 15% just 8 years ago. The rest of the population, some 30 million Americans, maintain some type of spiritual belief and practice, even though they no longer attend a church, a synagogue, or a mosque. This number represents individuals who describe themselves as spiritual, but not religious. And this is the fastest growing demographic in the US. Our Sangha Insight Meditation community of Charlotte describes itself as an educational organization and not a religious one. Dr. J. Forrest, a non-theistic philosopher of religion, specializing in Buddhism, Taoism, and Stoicism, asks in a recent article in Pathos, is Buddhism a religion? He says, it seems like a simple question until you realize that there's little agreement on what Buddhism is and what religion is in general. In this article, he examines the question, what is a religion? And he goes on to cite the social scientist J. Milton Yinger, saying, many studies of religion stumble over the first hurdle, the problem of definition. This is because there is no universally accepted definition of religion. It seems there are as many definitions as there are academic disciplines. Religion is one thing to the anthropologists, another to the sociologist, another to the psychologist, another to the Marxist, another to the mystic, another to the Buddhist, and yet another to the Jew and the Christian. As a result, there's a great variety of religious theories of the nature of religion. There is consequently no universally accepted definition of religion. Access to Insight, an online resource, says Theravada, or the doctrine of the elders, is the school of Buddhism that draws its scriptural inspiration from the Pali Canon, which scholars generally agree contains the earliest surviving record of the Buddha's teachings. For many centuries, Theravada has been the predominant religion of continental Southeast Asia. Today, it is estimated there are between 100, and according to my research, 520 million Theravadan Buddhists worldwide. And that includes those in the West, where Buddhism has grown exponentially. Access to Insight says the Buddha, the awakened one, called the religion he founded Dhamma Vinaya, the doctrine and discipline. in order to provide a social structure supportive of the practice of Dhamma and to preserve the teachings for posterity, the Buddha established the order of monks and nuns and the Sangha, which through the centuries has passed the Buddha's teachings on to lay people and monastics. This we know as the three jewels, the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. After the Buddha died, the Dhamma continued to spread across India, and differing interpretations of the original teachings arose, which led to schisms within the Sangha and the emergence of as many as 18 distinct sects of Buddhism. So is Buddhism a religion, a psychology, or a way of life? Lions Roar in 2019 published an article called "Is Buddhism a Religion?" If Buddhism is a religion, it said, it is a religion without a God and has left Westerners questioning it for years. Charles Prebish, who has written and edited numerous books on Buddhism, says definitively, yes, Buddhism is a religion. He says a religion is a philosophy that poses an ultimate reality, a path towards experiencing ultimate reality, and the potential for personal transformation. And Buddhism does all those things. People who say Buddhism is a religion and people who say Buddhism is not a religion may not be using the same standards and criteria. Buddhism offers an ultimate reality. Some forms of Buddhism may call this nirvana, others Buddhahood, and so forth. But all schools and sects of Buddhism do have a notion of ultimacy. Secondly, all schools and sects of Buddhism offer a clear path to the attainment of the ultimate reality. Whether it's the Eightfold Path in Theravada, the Bodhisattva path in Mahayana, or any of the numerous other paths, Buddhist practitioners are always provided with a straightforward series of practices that culminate in enlightenment. Annie asks rhetorically, are Buddhists to attain the experience of ultimate reality transformed by their experience? Of course they are, he says. The person is manifesting their Buddha nature. Dojin Panlap Rinpoche, a leading Tibetan Buddhist scholar and a meditation master, says, no, Buddhism is not a religion. Buddhism can be practiced as a religion, but that's not what the Buddha taught. The difference is in the investigation as opposed to the faith that you bring to it. If you search world religions, you'll find Buddhism on every list. Does that make Buddhism a religion? Not necessarily. He argues that Buddhism is a science of mind, a way of exploring how we think, feel, and act that leads us to profound truths about who we are. We can also say that Buddhism is a philosophy of life, a way to live that maximizes our chances for happiness. But what Buddhism is at this point, he's got a really good sense of humor, is out of the Buddha's hands. His teachings passed into the hands of his followers thousands of years ago. They passed from wandering beggars to monastic institutions, from the illiterate to the learned, from the esoteric East to the outspoken West. In its travels, Buddhism has been many things to many people. What did the Buddha intend when he taught? The Buddha questioned, are we born into this world just to suffer, grow old, and die? What is the meaning of it all? After he abandoned his austerities and all his concepts about his spiritual journey, then, and only with an open and curious mind, did he discover what he was looking for, the great mind of enlightenment. He saw beyond all belief systems to the profound reality of the mind itself, a state of clear awareness and supreme happiness. And along with that knowledge came an understanding of how to lead a meaningful and compassionate life. For the next 45 years, the Buddha taught how to work with the mind, how to look at it, how to free it from misunderstandings, and how to realize the greatness of its potential. Buddhism is an inner journey that's spiritual, Joan says, but not religious. The Buddha wasn't a god. He wasn't even a Buddhist. You are not required to have more faith in the Buddha than you do in yourself, he says. His power, the Buddha's, lies in his teachings, which show us how to work with our minds to realize our full capacity for wakefulness and happiness. These teachings can help us satisfy our search for the truth, our need to know who and what we really are. Religion, on the other hand, often provides us with answers to life's big questions right from the start. We learn what to think and believe, and our job is to live up to that and not to question it. If we relate to the Buddhist teachings as final answers that don't need to be examined, then we're practicing Buddhism as a religion. Another expert whose opinion I want to share is Joan Sutherland. She is a teacher in the Zen Koan tradition. She is the first woman Roshi in her lineage in America. And she says Buddhism is a kind of religion. If there's a sacred text in Buddhism, Sutherland says, it's the world itself, which is called the Great Sutra, something we're learning to interpret. Buddhism covers many traditions, evolving over vast stretches of geography and time, and accommodating everything from a statue of Lord Buddha on a taxi dashboard to some of the most abstruse philosophical treatises ever written. The religious, the agnostic, and the completely irreligious, as well as all those inclined psychologically, mystically, shamanically, or sociopolitically, can all find a home under the very big tent of Buddhism. So, is Buddhism a religion? From Sutherland's seat under the tent, she answers, yes No, kind of. Inside of which might be one of Buddhism's most powerful possibilities, she says. The religious event at the heart of the Koan tradition is awakening, which reunites us with the sacred or true nature of things. The revelation of awakening is of the universe as one undivided whole, simultaneously eternal and shimmering in and out of existence. Awakening deepens as we integrate the revelation with our experiences in the everyday world of cause and effect and in the nonlinear world of myth and dream. The Koan tradition supports this by way of a culture of awakening rather than through organized religion. Instead of infallible scriptures, there's a body of conversations, stories, commentaries, songs, poetry, jokes, whatever has proven helpful in waking people up over the centuries. Quotes from Buddhist sutras are turned into koans, sometimes upending their traditional meanings. If there is a sacred text, it's the world itself, which is called the Great Sutra, and something we're learning to interpret. I can't tell if I read this before. We don't always understand. That's what happens when you prepare a talk. You read it 7,000 times. You don't remember what's new and what isn't. We don't always understand why something happens or what it means, but we come to trust that we and it are part of the same sutra. And then our response in any circumstance begins with something like, notice what happens. It's deceptively simple. We can take it with us. It doesn't require or deny God or any other form of divinity. The koans are constantly urging us to see the radiance of each thing, galaxies to earthworms, divinities, spirits, and mythological figures shine with the same light as everything else. Authority comes from how clearly the voice of awakening speaks through someone, regardless of their position. The koans and other traditions in the Buddhist big tent undermine attempts to solidify religion around that impulse. We don't always succeed, but the fact that some keep trying is one of the most powerful potentials of Buddhism, being deeply religious without religion. So I am going to leave you with this perennial question of, is Buddhism a religion? And no, we may never have one answer to it, but it will always be a topic of discussion and disagreement for those that take a side. Thank you. And I'd like to invite you to raise your hand as a participant or to put questions in the chat, and I will try to move between the two. And I thank you, Julia, earlier for telling me that I was muted. Otherwise, I would have done the whole talk and you all would have been thinking, or jumping up, yelling at me. Any thoughts on is Buddhism a religion? I found all that I read fascinating because everyone is sure that they understand why it is or is not. Margaret, I can't unmute you. Can you try to unmute yourself?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Well, personally, I don't really care if it's a religion or not. So that's just me. But one thing that I have noticed about religion is that it tends to be divisive. There are people who are right and there are people who are wrong. And as you know, I now live in Pittsburgh, just outside of Chapel Hill. And I've gone to several meditation groups and Buddhist study groups. And I've found that same divisiveness. There's Theravada, but then there's the real Theravada. And, you know, I miss you so much. I miss myself.
Well, we miss you too.
So much.
We miss you too, but we're glad that you can come to the Zoom.
I am too, and I never found that divisiveness with this group. In fact, I know that there are a number of you who go to other churches, and it's always been, you can be a Baptist, you can be a Jew, you can be an Episcopalian, whatever, but we're studying this. We're studying the Dhamma, and
but we're not preaching it as a religion, and we're not asking you to accept the Dhamma leader teachers' talks as truth.
And
we're
in fact,
sharing something.
And in fact, Buddha said that same thing. Don't believe it because I say it. So that's all I.
Thank you. You can put your hand down.
Okay. See if I can figure out how to do that.
Okay, maybe I can do it.
I did.
Oh, you got it.
Yeah.
Okay. So there are a bunch of questions in the chat. I'm not a scholar, but I do believe if I do what the Buddha teaches, Jesus would be pleased. Who said that? Denise, I agree with you. You know, and I say that also about being a Jew, because I'm not a Christian. Nikki writes, I really enjoyed that. I really like the fact that the Buddha said you should rely on your own experience. I look at it as a practice personally and a wonderful way of life. Thank you, Nikki. Let's see, Steve, what difference would it make if Buddhism is a religion? Well, my understanding, Steve, is that everybody thinks their religion is the only way and the right way. And Buddhism does not. So for people who are upset about Buddhism, I'm sure my neighbors don't understand the Buddha at the front of my door, but they probably think I'm misguided. Oh, well. Let's see. Julia says, I'm drawn to Buddhism more since it does not feel like a religion. That makes sense, Julia. And I'm not sure if this is Thea or John saying it seems like the practitioner determines if Buddhism is a religion or not. Yes. I almost like what has been said, what does it matter? If you're using the Dhamma to improve your life, I don't care what you think about it, but perhaps you have a thought. Would you like to share yours? Danny said, it's a marvelous topic, well presented. Do we need an answer? Some people do, because, you know, they were taught as children, this is the truth. And so that means the rest of us are fake news. Margaret, Maria said it was good to see you. Noreen, I've tried a couple of different religions, but prefer learning the Buddhist teaching better than anything religion has taught me. It's a beautiful way of living. Thank you, Noreen. And Larry, oh, thank you. I appreciate that you enjoyed the talk. And the amount of research I did. Yes, I am a researcher. I raised a lot of questions, he says. One of the appeals of IMCC to me is that it is not out to convert people to a point of view. It's about many things, but especially about loving kindness for all. It's about compassion. You all know I was raised Jewish. They're my roots. I will never give them up, because that's my lineage. But Buddhism speaks to me as a way to live my life. And it's not that Judaism isn't compassionate and loving, it's that this is much more accessible to me. And because it's accessible, I can easily practice it. And isn't that what we want? And isn't, to me, what religion is about? For us to see our connection with everything and everybody, and to reach out and be loving to all. So those are my thoughts. And that's what's nice about being the leader. You can talk about anything you want, and you can tell people what you think. If there are no more comments, I'm going to read the announcements. Now, you have all heard this, and you've heard it before, and you may not dismiss it if you have not filled out the survey. Please, it's 5 minutes of your time. All of us do a ton of work to bring what we bring. Won't you help us figure out who you are and what you want, so that the board and the committees have a sense? If you have not filled out your Sangha survey, consider it your Hanukkah or Christmas gift to the Sangha. And I'm blank on a couple of other ways to say it through other faiths, but you know what I mean. On January 9th, you've all got a treat in store for you. Joy is doing a day-long seminar, and those of you who have heard her speak know she knows her stuff. She's really good. Take the time. I have been on retreat all weekend, and I'm doing a month-long series with the Barry Center. There's something about retreat that infuses you with an excitement and a passion. This is a chance to begin a new year and look at the Dhamma in a new way with Joy teaching it. On January 13th, Aya Sudama, a monastic, will be speaking to us, and we collect whatever Donna is donated and we donate it to her Sangha. Actually, we donate it so that she can eat and live. On February 4th, the winter book discussion group starts again, and Joy will be doing it, and it's called The Wisdom of Monastic Women, which you don't hear a lot about. So I encourage you, if you've never been to a book club, sign up. The spring series is The Three Factors of Existence. It will be Wednesdays, February 10th, 17th, 24th, and March 3rd. As you've heard us say, but you're not paying attention and following up, at 7 p.m. each Wednesday night, meditation instructions are provided, and it's a chance to ask questions in a small group. The link is on the homepage of the website. The first Wednesday of each month is a practice discussion group for experienced meditators, and it begins at 6:45. Don't forget to check out our website, www.imccharlotte.org, for upcoming events and for detailed information on offerings. And also, I think the link for the experienced practitioners is on there. I want to just remind people that we meet all Wednesdays during the holiday season, including Christmas and New Year's, if it falls on a Wednesday. It doesn't this year. Now, I want one more special announcement. Last week, Debbie did a talk on metta. Well, Clyde, on December 30th, is going to do a complete metta meditation. Please join us and start your year out with love in your heart. Are there any other announcements for the Sangha?
Alexis,
Hold on.
I'm unmuted.
Okay,
I'm
I
unmuted.
hear you.
On December the 30th, that be sure to be here at 7:30. We're going to start the talk at 7:30. So the whole evening will be the metta meditation. So be here at 7:30 to start to join us for that meditation.
I'm sorry I missed that, Clyde. Thank you. Any non-IMCC announcements? I want to thank everyone that makes this possible. I know how much work you put in because I've been around for a while, and the volunteers are so necessary for us to function. Today in my KM group, we discussed doing more outreach with homeless people, people who are living in facilities. And when COVID is over, it sure would be nice. Cynthia Glickman had done a wonderful job where a group of us volunteered once a month to work at a facility to help share a meal and do cleanup for them. We are hungry, pun intended, for volunteers to see what other kinds of things we can do on a regular basis. Please also go to the website www.imccharlotte.org and offer your dana, which is ongoing, and you can offer it online. I want to thank everyone, and I want to do metta, but I need for you all to once again get comfortable. I'm just going to see if there are any more questions. Okay, send comments and ideas of things you would like to add to your survey responses to info@imcc or imccharlotte.org. Okay, so why don't you get comfortable, and I'm going to do a mini metta and prepare you for next week, and then Clyde will bring us into the new year. So just take a breath, relax, come out of the world of ideas. Think of people that are important to you, that are suffering, even people that aren't important to you that are suffering. And we will include them a little bit later in our metta. You can repeat after me silently to yourself or out loud if you're muted. May I be free of enmity, unwholesomeness, judgment of myself and others. May I be free of troubles of body and mind. May I be free of hurtfulness and unkind words and deeds. May my mind be as spacious as the sky. May I be able to protect my happiness and add to the happiness of others. May I daily celebrate my gratitudes and joys, both big and small. And now let's bring all the names of people you thought of into our collective energy. May you be free of enmity, unwholesomeness, and judgment of yourself and others. May you be free of troubles of body and mind. May you be free of hurtfulness and unkind words and deeds. May your mind be as spacious as the sky. May you be able to protect your happiness and add to the happiness of others. And may you daily celebrate your gratitudes and joys, both big and small. And now let's include all beings everywhere with no exception. May you be free of enmity, unwholesomeness, and judgment of yourself and others. May you be free of troubles of body and mind. May you be free of hurtfulness and unkind words and deeds. May your mind and heart be as spacious as the sky. May you be able to protect your own happiness and add to the happiness of others. And may you daily celebrate your gratitudes and joys, both big and small. Thank you for joining us. Please be safe and protect yourself and others. I look forward to seeing you again.